it was challenging enough to lose the first child after, I believe it was second, third trimester. Then having my son with this chromosome disorder, got to try the first session, found relief. And within a matter of 6 sessions, I was already going back to the gym. And this is 6 months of like serious sciatic pain.
Wow.
And I said to my wife, I was like, honey, look, you saw the results, and it's completely non-invasive. Would you be okay if we tried it on my son?
Welcome to the Path to Purpose podcast, where I share incredible conversations with amazing humans who went through a pivotal shift in their lives that have put them on their path of purpose, profit, and impact. My name's Zarak Fatah. I'm a serial entrepreneur and life coach. I went through my own transformational journey where I'm now committed to living a life of inspiration, education, and empowerment. My intention is to share these conversations so they inspire you to also walk your path to purpose. Welcome back to the Path Podcast, where we share inspiring stories of individuals who have found their path to purpose and they are now sharing it with the world. Today, we are at the newly opened Heal House, which is a holistic wellness concierge club, and we sit down with the founder, Joe Liu, who shares his beautiful life story and the journey that took him from being a real estate developer to creating this amazing regenerative facility that is now helping thousands of people to heal. I'm so excited to share this story with you because Joe Liu is a true inspiration, and you are going to learn about so many different modalities, technologies, and things available to you to help you heal. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing great, Zarak. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me. You're having me.
You're
having Arshia, me, and Samuel here to the soon-to-be opened Heal House here in King City.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure to be one of the first people to walk through and see this amazing facility that you've created here. I personally am very excited for you guys to open because, selfishly speaking, you're only an hour away from where I live in Collingwood. This place is incredible. Like the details, the thought, the consideration that's gone into every single inch of it. It is truly a special place you've created, and I'm sure you just can't wait to get the doors open.
For sure. Yeah, it's been a lot of like hard work and dedication to get this place open, and you get excited because now you're wondering how people are going to accept it.
Yeah, and you have the ideas, your intention, the vision of what you think is going to happen here. And then it's almost like having a child, as your wife is carrying the baby, you have a vision of who your son or daughter is going to be, aspirations you have for them, and then they're born, and then they just take on the life of their own, right?
100%.
Yeah. And I know from our conversations how important Heal House is to you, and that this is really like the culmination of a long journey that you've been on. And I can't wait to dive into your story and have you share it with the viewers and the listeners because it is such a beautiful, inspiring story. But before we dive into that, I would love for you to share a bit about who is Joe Liu from before, because I actually, even though we are former colleagues from the nightlife industry, I never knew you back then, right? And through our mutual friend, Raki, shout out Mortgage Savvy for introducing us. I didn't know much about you, but since we've, become friends and chatted, I realized, wow, we've had kind of like these parallel lives, right? So I would love for you to just share a little bit about your background, your come up, and how you, kind of got into this beautiful path.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Zarak, and shout out to Raki. So, it all really started from my family fleeing Vietnam during the Vietnamese War. They had to leave the war because of the whole North and South. When my family finally got here into Canada during around 78, 79, they had me in 83. And, when we first came here, obviously you're coming from very humble beginnings. My family was, moved from various different places, starting off at Regent Park. You really, have to go through a lot to realize my family came from money in Vietnam, and then coming to this country, this new country with absolutely nothing, I'm not like, I didn't get to experience what my parents get to experience, having a good life in Vietnam. So I just realized just what poverty was about, was just, from humble beginnings. And it was more about survival in the very beginning. Started going to clubs at a very, very early age. Maybe I shouldn't share the age, but very early ages. And started working at a very early age. And I built myself up. I remember my first real job at Rogers. I started working there 18 years old. I was, made top sales, saved up the money, bought my first property in my early 20s. Just from my girlfriend then, my wife now, watching HGTV. That's it. Just thinking like, this is amazing. We love design, we love building houses, and we want to be able to, take on the project ourselves. So we bought our first home during the 2007, 2008 crash.
That's amazing that you had that drive and that ambition. And, coming from humble beginnings, I grew up in Scarborough. You grew up in Regent Park. At the time, I felt like, why can't my parents do more for me? Why can't my parents, give me more than clothes from Byway or Zellers? And I'm totally dating myself now. But, I felt, I wouldn't say resentful, but I was almost like sad or frustrated. But now I can reflect back and see it was actually the greatest gift I have, because it actually taught me that if I wanted those nice things in life, I had to go out there and find a way to earn that money to make it, right?
It's interesting because I look at the journey, and we think that we have control over our lives, but in studying spirituality, that your life kind of just unfolds in front of you. You just have to take the steps. So if I look at back then who I was angry. I had a lot of anger inside. Dealing with numerous counselors, getting into fights all the time when I was younger.
Where do you think that anger came from?
I think the anger came from part of, it was almost shared with my parents, right? My parents had a good life back home in Vietnam. And then after they had to basically leave a country that they were comfortable in, come to this country and started off with nothing. When you come here, you don't know the language. You have to work. My mom worked in a factory. So it was, there was a lot of challenges and frustration, and that frustration, they didn't know any better. They gave me the utmost love and attention that they can, but they're dealt their cards, and based on the cards that they dealt is what I received on the other end. So I accept it for what it is today, but it was a difficult upbringing.
Did you deal with any racism?
For sure. I mean, Toronto was a different time back in the 80s and 90s. We dealt with a lot of people making fun of us, slit eyes, your name sounds like, throwing pots and pans down the stairs. So it was, I was very proud to be Chinese. But our family eventually moved down to Rogers and Dufferin, which I was actually surrounded by a lot of Italians. They were amazing. I got to understand their culture, their work ethics, felt such a close connection with them. Then eventually my parents moved down to Dufferin and Bloor, and then from there they moved back into an Italian neighborhood, and that's where they are still today. So it's I got to experience the good and the bad. I got to see how people treated Chinese people, but then I also see how others defended, right, and how it pushed us to get closer together. So I grew up with a lot of Asian friends eventually after high school, and saw how we had to stick together and connect and not let anybody pick on us. So it was interesting times.
Yeah. And reflecting on your childhood and the adversity and challenges you went through, anything you change about that?
If you asked me a few years ago, I'd say I'd like to change a lot of it. But I think if I reflect on today, I wouldn't change any of it, because it made me who I was. It makes me who I am. And I have to be grateful and compassionate for the lessons in life, because if it wasn't for those lessons, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I'm continuously growing, continuously learning. It's so easy to pick on the stuff that went wrong in your life, right? But it's harder to overcome in saying that, hey, you know what? I accept it. I'm accountable for my actions. I made the mistakes. I'm going to make the changes, and I want a better life for myself, my family, and my dear friends.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when we shift from that victimhood mentality to taking ownership and being responsible for what we've done, and then also, asking the question, what is there for me to learn here? What is the pattern that I'm running over and over again that I need to heal, right? That's where the growth is, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So unique or fun fact about you is you're also in nightlife for many years. So yeah, can you share a little bit about your career?
For sure. I mean, it wasn't really much of a career, more than just going out to the clubs fairly often. Had very good, had friends back in the day that, got us into, we had the VIP booths, went partying all the Asian nightlife scene. Then eventually, in my adulthood, invested into, mutual friends of ours, Mona, Patrick, and Nader,
right,
at Regulars.
Yes,
and then
the former Blowfish.
Right? Thanks to you, you did an amazing job.
Thank you. And were you never a promoter in the Asian nightlife scene? For some reason,
I was never a promoter.
Okay. For some reason, I had thought that you were also a promoter at some point.
No, not
maybe just acted like a promoter.
Probably, yeah.
So you got involved with Regulars.
Got involved with Regulars, built amazing friendships, had a great experience there, learned a lot, and then actually invested into to Silent H, which is Nader and Patrick's next their last venture.
Yeah, nice, yeah, and so we've kind of run in mutual circles for many years, but we actually didn't meet until our mutual friend Rocky invited me to, you had a special event here at Heal House, and she told me a little bit about you, the fact that you're a real estate investor, you've involved in some real estate development projects and have done quite well with that. And then she told me a little bit about Heal House and what it offered, but she didn't give me the whole backstory on that. So I'd love for you to just share a bit about what inspired you to open this place, because I can tell this is like a personal passion project that means a lot to you, and you can see that in the detail and the love and attention that's gone into the space, and I could relate, because whenever I was opening a restaurant or my spa or any of my businesses, it's like it was coming from a place of such deep passion that I was meticulous about everything. So, that's why I can recognize the attention to detail and the care that you've put in. So, I'd love for you to share a little bit about how do you go from being a real estate developer, heavily invested into that industry, into opening up a regenerative medicine healing house.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks, Zarak. It's I started off, real estate at such an early age. I actually didn't expect to get into this. Real estate has been a passion of mine. I've invested at, I believe it was the age of 23, 24 years old. Bought the first property at $360,000 at Bayview, New York Mills. Took on the project with my wife, and we flipped it for close to $650,000. Felt like, oh wow, this is great money. Let's replicate this. So we invested all into the next project, parlayed it to a next one, and a next one. Got into commercial real estate in my early 30s, and at that point, I didn't think I was going to look back until I started seeing my son, and had my son very early in my late 20s. You don't really recognize, the challenges that he was facing, when he was 2 years old, 3 years old. You just thought that, oh, he's young, that maybe this is common. But, seeing him not being able to walk properly, seeing him not being able to hold a spoon properly, his communication skills, he couldn't speak with us. And, it kind of hit me one day where I was just like, I got to do something about this. And it was actually perfect timing in my life when I got back from a trip. It was in Kazakhstan, and I was on crutches for like 6 months. I had tremendous sciatic pain. I remember sitting in bed because I wasn't able to get much sleep, and I said like a deep prayer to God, where it's like really just open up my heart, and I said, God, please guide me through this. And the next day, I was able to meet this person carrying this green mattress in the elevator, and I thought he was a massage therapist. He says, I don't touch you. The mat does does the entire job. So I thought, this is crazy. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But, like he says, look, try it. First one's on me. It's free. I'll come to you as well. So he comes over, first
So
session.
hold on, let me just get this straight. You're in an elevator. You're going through this like bout of like sciatica pain.
Yeah.
And this guy's standing there with a green mattress, and you just strike up a conversation.
That's it. That's how amazing God works, right?
Absolutely.
And so I got to try the first session, found relief, and within a matter of 6 sessions, I was already going back to the gym. And this is 6 months of like serious sciatic pain.
Wow. And what's this mattress called?
So it's called PMF, pulsating electromagnetic frequency.
And you have that here.
Yes, we have it here.
Okay.
And much more. Like ever since I learned about it, I went down the rabbit hole, and I started just researching, speaking to different doctors, scientists, contacted suppliers around the world. And it was basically, last 3-4 years of my journey. And so,
So you did some sessions, it helped with your sciatica pain.
Yeah.
And then you were like, okay, I need to get myself one of these.
100%. Yeah. It was, after I felt better, though, the first thing was I went to my wife, and I said to my wife, I was like, honey, look, you saw the results, and it's completely non-invasive. Would you be okay if we tried it on my son? So then we started trying it on my son, doing sessions with him. And, through, a period of like 6 months, we're starting to see him, really transform. He's, getting stronger. He started looking in your eyes. He started being able to have more vocabulary. And, like I was just like, this is phenomenal. Like, what else can it do? Right. And then now I started understanding more about genetics and, like frequency harmonics and being able to like really tune in on how I can be able to help my son. And his transformation, of his life really inspired me to build Heal House, because, the best feeling you get, Zarak, is like when you're a father and you are so lost, not knowing what's going to happen to your son, and the feeling of being able to have your son back, where I'm able to communicate with him. He's doing kung fu now.
Wow.
Right? That feeling I get is so inspiring that I was just like, God, maybe this is my path. So I'm going to take this path. And like it was a big, I would say university course, right? Because I come from a real estate background. I had no clue. So I could build this beautiful building, right? But I didn't know anything about operations. I didn't know anything about health and wellness. But I was determined, and now have a phenomenal team, have amazing people like you that entered my life to be able to share a story. And now I'm just extremely grateful, and I'm just excited to see what's to come.
I love that. Yeah. So your son has been a big inspiration behind the concept of Heal House and, of course, your own healing. And it's such a beautiful story because, to what we said before, like the experiences that life gives us, whether it be rough childhood, whether it be a sickness, God works through us in so many different ways where what we think is a challenge, what we think is a curse, actually turns out to be the biggest blessing. Your son, thankfully, I'm so happy to hear he's doing kung fu and he's feeling better and healing. And what he has gone through has inspired you now to create something that's going to help thousands of lives, no doubt, right? And that is the experience God gave you for you to find your purpose and your path.
And timing is important, right? Because it's all about timing. In the beginning, when my son was going through these challenges, I am accountable and transparent to say that I wasn't the best father, that I wasn't the best husband. Because
why do you say that? What do you feel you could have done different?
I was actually hurt. When I reflected back, I was very, very hurt because when you have a son, we lost our first child.
Okay.
And
Sorry
you
to
know,
hear
it
that.
was you know, it was challenging enough to lose the first child after, you know, I believe it was second, third trimester, and then having my son with this chromosome disorder, I had to, you know, really, I ignored it. I ignored it.
Were you
I was
kind of like
really
in
angry.
denial about
I was
it?
in denial,
Okay.
and I think as a Asian Chinese father, and you know, having him take the family name, I was really hurt and disappointed, right? Because I didn't know how it's going to turn out. You know, like he's going to carry the family name forever, right? How is that going to be like? But then I realized to myself afterwards, you know, like through numerous work, through numerous challenges, and part of the reason why I feel like I got sick was it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he's going to carry the family name. The only thing that matters is that he's going to be happy. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Like seeing my son smile, seeing that, you know, that loving emotion that he has, you know, like that feeling is the best feeling ever. If he doesn't, you know, if he doesn't build a multi-million or billion-dollar business, it's okay, because I can look at my son every single day and just know that, you know, he's happy. And I did a great job as a father to facilitate his happiness.
Beautiful. Yeah. And his disorder was actually the gift that you needed
100%.
to become the man you are today.
You know, if it wasn't like I was such a lost person and I was so angry, and you know, I still face those challenges sometimes. You know, people see me and they're like, oh, Joe's such a happy person. You know, he's, you know, but there's a lot of ghosts in that closet. There's tons of like darkness and demons and stuff that I had to go through and different challenges, and I'm facing them on a constant basis. But it was the spiritual work that, and the fullest belief in God, that led me to where I am today, that, you know, continues my belief. And it really gives me the strength to, you know, to be a better person and to be able to like continuously evolve.
Yeah. And, you know, it's such a powerful message, because I know there are people out there who are listening to this or watching it, and they may be going through their own situation where a loved one or one of their children, or, you know, somebody in their life may be going through a illness or disease or some sort of disorder. And I can't relate to what that must feel like. And I'm sure, as you said, there's anger, there's frustration, there's disappointment, there's all those feelings. However, there's a reason why it's happening, and faith and being proactive, taking responsibility, and really looking for the blessing in the situation is the only thing that's going to make it better. Because also that optimism you had in saying, no, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to research. I'm going to have conversations with different types of doctors to see what's available out there. It's what sparked something in you that has now manifested into this physical space.
Yeah, exactly. It's, you know, if you do it for your loved ones, right? Like that's the only way that it's going to impact you that much. Like I see you have a phenomenal relationship with your dog, right? You would do anything for your dog, and that love is just so pure and unconditional. And so that same love that I have towards my son, I want to do everything for my son. And so that's what drove me to be completely relentless, to build this space, to make sure, you know, every little single detail, the people that we bring on, how we market it, the words, you know, like I want to put this out there in the world because it's a reflection of who I am, right? Because a business is a reflection of who you are. It's a visionary, especially my role as the chief visionary officer. But it's you know, it's also part of your mission and vision in life, right? My mission and vision in life after watching my son transform has changed from being, you know, like you know, a successful real estate mogul to somebody that wanted to be able to build a place where, you know, people can have an amazing experience, build community, meaningful friendships, and looking at health in a different way, where you're able to go through various different assessments, collect 150 pages of data on you, and then having our compassionate team prepare a customized protocol. That is the way I see wellness and well-being.
Yeah, and it's such a necessary reframing of what does it mean to be healthy and what does it mean to live a long life. Because most people, when I tell them I'm going to live to 120, like, why would you want to live to 120? Because most people think by 80 you're kind of checking out. Maybe if you make it to 90, but those last 10 or 15 years you're just going to be pooping in a diaper, right?
Yeah.
Or like my father, barely being able to walk up a flight of stairs. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a healthy 100-year-old, then it's the choices that you make today. And thankfully now, due to medical technology, the advancements in the research and the data that's available, you can actually predict your future and implement modalities, supplements, and treatments that will help to extend your health span. So yes, you could live a long life and you could live a long, healthy life. Now, before we dive into all the amazing things that the Heal House has to offer, you mentioned one thing that I just want to touch on again. You mentioned that the disappointment and the anger and the feelings that you were experiencing, you believe to be the cause for your illness. And I assume you're referring to the sciatica?
Yeah, I mean, back then I had a sciatic issue. I had gout, bouts of gout, like literally every few weeks I would just have an attack of gout. Dealing with depression, had a lot of anxiety. I remember it was the technologies helped with the body. Mm-hmm. And part of the body helped with the mind, but it was actually going to church. My wife is Christian. I grew up Buddhist. But going to the church and just seeing how all these people had amazing faith. And, we're so blessed to be beside an Anglican church, in this Masonic temple in King City. But having, people look at faith and believing in God and Jesus Christ and, just having, that hope, that knowing that whatever they go through in their life, right, that if they believe and they work towards it, that they'll be able to overcome it. So, the technology is phenomenal, right? The technology will work, but you have to be in that frame of mind, right? Like I listened to one of your podcasts and I think it was with Mark Wade. Mm-hmm. And Mark was talking about that, he worked down at Bay Street and traffic is horrendous. And so when you go to work, do you want to just complain about traffic, mm-hmm. or do you want to just say, hey, if it wasn't for the traffic, maybe I would have gone to an accident, right? Reframing that mm-hmm. mind, right? Because it's so important, because as soon as you send, you trigger that thought can become words, mm-hmm. and those words can become actions.
Absolutely.
So when you think of something and maybe it's bothering you, maybe it's boiled up inside, reframing that mind to something positive, then you could be you could be accepting towards it. And now instead of having anger, you can share compassion.
Yeah. I love how you explained that. And how I like to reference it's like the software and the hardware. With your MacBook Pro, you don't see it as, that's you look at it, you say, that's the software, and there's a keyboard, the drive, whatnot. No, it is what it is. So our software and hardware are interconnected and are all part of who we are. And you can come here and have your hardware tuned up and running in optimal shape. But if the software has a glitch or a virus, if the software is old and outdated, the hardware isn't going to work. And that's why it's so important for them to go hand in hand, and vice versa. You could have the latest, Safari 8.0 or 13.0 or whatever it's at these days, and you're going to be running the latest software. But if the hardware is outdated, deficient, you're just not going to get the results. And that's where, yes, having the mindset is so important, because our mind can make us sick and our mind can make us healthy.
Yeah.
And to your point about having faith and about believing and having gratitude, feeling joy and love, those higher vibration emotions is what brings coherence to the body. And now this is what we're learning with quantum and energetic medicine, is that frequency is critical to our vitality and to living a long, healthy life. And I can't wait to get hooked up to your frequency machine again here. That electric, what is it called? I like to call it like the vibe amplifier. We'll do a session on that later and show all the viewers what that looks like. And that's why a facility like this is so important, because typical Western medicine, you go to the hospital, the doctors are prescribing what they've been told to prescribe for the last 30, 40 years. And science and technology has advanced so much in just the last 10 years that there's so many new alternative modalities. And some of these modalities aren't even new. Like, for example, the Rife machine, which I don't know exactly when the Rife machine came out, but decades ago was able to slow down and eliminate cancer by way of vibration and frequency.
Yeah, I believe that everything has its purpose, right? I still believe in pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals has helped a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Statins, for example, from people getting heart attacks. There's a purpose that was built. There's a lot of research and a lot of people that put their blood, sweat, and tears in developing this. I was able to speak to doctors that formulated cancer therapy drugs that has saved hundreds of thousands of people. So I believe that everything in life has a purpose. I just believe that, you in tune will pick what's right for you. Right? So people that resonate more with frequency, with holistic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, if this resonates with you, then you go down that path, right? But if you feel that, you're in a state where you feel that pharmaceuticals, hospitals, clinics, that resonates with you, then you follow that path. There's no right or wrong. It's just your path.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you believe that whether it be chemotherapy or pharmaceuticals, whatever, is what's going to help you to heal, and that's what you truly believe, then by all means, do what's best for you. And also do your research, consider your options, and see what's out there. Because, for example, several of my coaching clients, very athletic, they've been training for years, and they've got bad knees, and they're thinking about going to get knee replacement. And I asked them, well, have you considered stem cells? They're like, I don't know anything about stem cells. I'm saying, okay, before you go and have the knee surgery, because yes, it could work and it has a long recovery and it's expensive and all of that, look into stem cells, right? So there's so much new cutting edge technology out there that most people aren't even aware of. They're just going with the traditional procedures that have been recommended or prescribed for the last 20 or 30 years. And that's why it's exciting for a place like Heal House to open. And as well, I've told you about my friend, Dr. Goel from Peak Human. There are a handful of people in the health and wellness space and the medical field who are saying, wait a minute, why are we not embracing these new technologies or supplements? Something as simple as peptides or exosomes.
Exactly.
There's a lot of new options available that people haven't quite discovered yet. And that's why, my hope and intention with this podcast is that people, hear and see what Heal House has to offer. And they're like, oh, I've never heard about it before. I want to go try, whether it be that red light therapy or whether it be, the energy amplifier. Right? What is the actual name for that energetic amplifier?
So we have a biocharger that's around the waiting area that we designed kind of around the fire pit. Mm-hmm. Then we also use frequencies for our PMF, which is the technology that helped my son and I. And then we have sound frequencies as well. So we actually play bass sound frequencies in our float tank, which is very unique. So yes, I 100% agree with you. When coming up with the vision and idea of Heal House, I thought of, how can we make this place special? Because the biggest thing is the education. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to design Heal House as a content creation center. So we have our podcast that we set up. We brought in Fred, which is an amazing cinematographer that's able to capture the video, the photos, right? Like, we have a phenomenal team that writes the content. Nader and Patrick joined our team, to do the marketing for us. So It's really being able to take the information, break it down so people can understand and allow them to resonate with them. Being in this room, we're in the secret garden room now. And in the secret garden room, we have our chef that's on stage that prepares meals. He's going to be, speaking with the nutritionist or the dietitian. They're educating you about, where they source their food from, substitutes and certain ingredients. They prepare the meal in front of you and you get like a 3-course meal. So it's a phenomenal experience and an education. You're able to then take that content in small reels and you're able to, read up about it. You're able to then, we do meal prep packages where you can go on your Instagram reels and you're able to look at what Mike is making and then purchase right away. And then by the means of Uber Eats or DoorDash, it'll be right at your door, right? So, we want to be able to create the content that resonates with people, that people are currently watching now through, TikTok and Instagram, and connect with them so they can feel like they're engaged with us, they're connected with us. We have a space, our space here is 4,200 square feet, but it's outreaching beyond the space and how we can be able to touch the lives of others beyond this building.
Amazing. And one of the things you shared with me, which is a super cool concept, is the Heel House van. So, brilliant idea. Can you share a bit more about where'd that idea come from, and what does the Heel House? Is there a special name you have for it?
Yeah, it's the Heel Go.
The Heel Go. Okay, got it.
Yeah, so the Heel Go is it's pretty cool. We when I built this place, we're in King City. First of all, shout out to King City, super supportive. My friend Gus, which is
Nick's cousin.
Is the VP here. He's just some phenomenal supporter. But we're a ways from the city. We're like a good hour and a half away from Toronto. So my friends downtown Toronto be like, Joe, I love what you've done to this space, but it takes a trip to get up there. Like I'm literally have to book out a day, right? So I said, okay, I'm a phenomenal problem solver. So I like to figure out how I'm going to solve this problem. So I said, I got it. I'm going to go buy a Mercedes Sprinter. I'm going to deck it out. And originally it was supposed to be for chiropractic services, right? Where we have a chiropractor table there and then we do services in the van. But afterwards, we decided that it was extremely difficult to get a chiropractor to work in a van after graduating years of school. They want to work in a prestigious clinic, right? So then we changed it and we basically built it out as a limo bus, but a very cool limo bus. So you get picked up in the van. Let's say, like yourself, for example, you're saying, Joe, I'm going to the Raptors game tonight. I want to pick up 5 of my friends. We literally pick you up. We pick up the rest of your friends. And then you're able to do red light therapy. You do PMF. You do percussion therapy, you do compression, right? All inside of the van in a tranquil environment. That's kind of like a mini Heel House.
Wow.
So it's great for lead gen, right? Because it drives business up to Heel House, but it's also great as a standalone business because now people, instead of just being transported into, to another location, they're actually getting a miniature biohacking experience.
Very cool. And do you guys do IVs in there as well?
No, so we're not doing IV now. We're very careful with IVs inside the Heel Go van just because we want everything to be, very clean, very organized. We do IVs here at Heel House, but currently in the Heel Go, it's just, these modalities.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because the IV treatments to go are very popular, especially in Miami. I know people who do really well with that. My friend Chris Pacella has a company in Miami called IV Squad or something. I think it's called IV Drip Squad or something like that. And yeah, it's especially in Miami, people are hungover and all messed up, and they need the IVs to come right to them. So I know that you have the red light therapy here. You have PMF, the energy enhancer, I call it. What are some of the other treatments that you guys offer here? So once you're open in September, people are lining up at the door to come in. What can they expect from the services that you guys offer and the benefits behind all the different like procedures that you offer here?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, part of it is, let's break it down to two different categories. So we'll break it down by assessments,
Okay.
and then we'll break it down to actual function of modality. The assessment itself, we have the VisBody machine that collects your biometrics. It also collects your posture, your flexibility. We work with Hexoskin. Hexoskin does continuous monitoring. If you watch the show with Chris Hemsworth and Limitless on Disney, that's what he was wearing in order for you to be able to collect the data. So while you're wearing that shirt, you can actually do exercise in our outdoor gym where we're able to collect the data on you and show you on a continuous basis, not stagnant. Then we move you towards the live blood cell analysis, where we take a little drip of your blood and we are able to show you on a big 50-inch screen TV how your blood looks like, before your session and after your session. Wow. We also have the Optic AI, which is a retina scan. It basically scans your eyes in like 3 minutes. It gives you your results and it tells you your eye health. It also gives you your circulatory health, brain health, heart health.
All through your eye.
All through your eye.
Wow.
Yeah. And now
I get to do that today, right?
100%.
Okay.
We got you.
Good,
We got you taken care
Perfect.
of. And then we also have the Wanfu, which is they're getting Health Canada certification, but they're currently all across Europe, Africa, Asia, the Middle East. And it's basically a single drop blood test where we're able to get your blood samples blood sample results as little as 3 to 15 minutes. So we take a drop of your blood. You can go into the sauna cold plunge, or you can go into the sensory deprivation pod. And after, when you're done, we'll have your results for you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like one-stop shop, one-stop tune-up shop.
One-stop tune-up shop. We have things like the colonics, right? So colonics, cleaning out your large intestine, coffee enemas. We also have a similar system for your ears to remove all the earwax. Okay. Pelvic floor and shockwave for women with incontinence, men with erectile dysfunction. We're also developing a program for fertility, right? Because fertility is very important for us. Obviously, the whole reason, because of my son, right? We want to be able to make sure women out there are being able to bear children and give birth to children. And, for them, it's such a phenomenal joy in their life that we want to be able to support them through their journey. So yeah, those are just some of the things that we offer.
Amazing. I can't wait to come when you guys are fully open and get to experience all of it. I'm gonna have to book myself in for a full day. And you guys are scheduled to open when in September? Is it official date yet? Do you guys have?
Yeah, so we set for September 8th.
Okay.
September 8th is, it's 1 week before my birthday. Okay, nice. So, my birthday is September 15th. I want to be able to have it 1 week prior because to me, it's a gift. It's my gift. I don't want anything else for my birthday. My gift for my birthday is being able to open this place, seeing all the smiling faces, the happy people go through here, and being able to, enjoy the experience.
Beautiful. Yeah. And it's your gift to everybody else.
It's my gift to everybody else.
Finally share. No, it's so beautiful. Just the whole full circle of the experience of your son being born with a disorder, you experiencing your pain and the disharmony in your body as a result of the emotions you've been feeling, and how you were able to find a solution, help your son heal, which helped yourself heal, and now you're here to help thousands of other people heal here at Heal House. Yeah.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
It's a really, really inspiring story. And I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you. And I have no doubt that this place is going to be a huge success, because places like this don't exist yet, and it's great that you're one of the pioneers to make it happen and to bring a dream and a vision to life. As I say, you're the chief visionary officer, making it happen. And yeah, I just want to congratulate you for finding your path, your purpose, just leaning into that and going all in. That takes something, and it's beautiful to see.
Thanks, Zarak. I really appreciate it. And I also want to commend you, right? Thank you so much for coming out here, sharing our story, telling our story. You are the exact personality and mindset that we want to be part of our community, growing our community. So I hope I could do this, but I got you a gift.
Oh, really?
And it's like an honorary member of
thank
Heal
you.
House.
Oh, wow.
May I
Thank you
share
so
it?
much. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Okay.
So part of Heal House is that, our kind of billing model, our pricing model, we're membership based.
Right.
We interview you, we make sure that you're a fit for our community. And then once you're a fit, we actually give you this Heal House token.
Oh, beautiful. Wow.
Right? So this is your commemorative collectible coin. Has a QR code in the back.
Okay.
It comes with a keychain that we're in the process of ordering right now, where you carry it with you.
Okay.
And then when you come check in, we scan, we see how many credits that you have left.
Okay.
So, to become a member here, we have an introductory offer of 250 credits a month.
Okay.
Second tier is 500. And so once you purchase your credits, every single one of these machines, every single service has a credit price associated with
Right.
it.
Yeah.
So once you finish using all of your credits, you just buy more credits
Got
and
it.
we load you onto this token.
Okay.
And so I would love to present you with this honorary Heal House token.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
And,
Wow, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Our well-being for another together.
That's our model. That's our
Love that.
slogan.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's amazing. Very generous of you. I will definitely put this to good use for sure. As I'm celebrating my 50th soon, as you know, I'm committed to being the best health, best shape of my life in this chapter. And it's very I appreciative and grateful for your gift, and I look forward to putting it into well use for sure.
Thanks, Zarak.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I as well thank you for taking the time to be here, and sharing your journey, your story. You've been very open and vulnerable with me. We've had some beautiful conversations about what it's taken to get you here to this point. And, I feel like we are on similar missions and we're kind of doing it in our own way, but we are part of the same alliance, which is,
Yes.
You're here to help people heal their physical body so that they can, live their life to this full potential. And I, as well, helping people to heal in all ways so that, again, your pain became your purpose.
Yes.
And similar to myself, my journey, what I've been through, is what's allowed me to become who I am today. And, this is a journey of life, to find your purpose, to share that gift with everyone you can, because as you know, like, there's no better feeling than helping other people just overcome whatever they're going through. So I'm happy to be on this path with you, brother.
Thank you,
I
brother.
appreciate your time, and I look forward to getting in the tank or the tub or
Let's
doing
do it.
some of the electric vibe enhancing machine. All right. Thank
do
you,
it,
man.
man.
Appreciate you.
No
All right.
problem.
If you enjoyed this podcast and you learned something valuable, then please hit subscribe so you don't miss the future episodes. I'd love it if you share this with a friend and leave us a review. Your feedback is so important to our growth. Thank you for supporting the Path to Purpose podcast. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next episode.